Assalamu alaikum. Sister Lubna, are we good to go?
You're good to go. We're live.
Walaikum salam. One thing, Facebook, I couldn't hear your sound.
We are not talking and Facebook is a little delayed, but it should come now.
Another, we're live. If you want to put the start the presentation, please.
One moment, please.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, salatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Sorry about that short delay. Inshallah, we have more people that have joined in the last couple of minutes. Before we start, as always, we hope and pray that Allah will unite our hearts and that will always guide us to what pleases Him the most. And with that, it is my pleasure as the acting director, executive director of RCM to introduce the team that's actually going to be doing the update today. And this team has been working on what you will see for the past few months. You will hear, I'm just gonna sort of share a few things about them. The team is called the Project Development Team, and it is led by Brother Husni Muhammad, who is a senior project manager with over 40 years of engineering, project execution, and organizational development experience. He has been involved in several Atlanta Muslim community projects, including Al Farouk and Amana Academy. Also on the team is my lovely wife, Hunada, who has a master's in architecture, who has been a design consultant for both residential, commercial, as well as educational and nonprofit organizations. She is also an RCM Quran teacher, a volunteer since the beginning in 2008 with both events and interfaith programs. And she has been serving on the executive committee as a member of the facility direction and the QSP program administration. Brother Kamran Siddiq does not need an introduction. He is an owner of Excel Capital Construction with 25 plus years of residential and commercial construction experience. He is also an RCM volunteer, is current facility director, and an executive committee member. And last but not least, Sister Kinza Tariq, who is a young professional with and a CX analyst. She is the founder and executive director of Cultivate Atlanta. She also has been a member of RCM since its inception, and she has supported PR and fundraising efforts for massages and local and global nonprofits for the past few years, mashallah. So with that, I'll turn it over to Brother Kamran. I will be back towards the end of the presentation, inshallah, with a few closing remarks. Jazakumullah khair. Brother Kamran, you're on mute. You're saying so. Can't see you.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Can everybody hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry about that. Let me, we can go back to the other slide. Let me go back. Do I have the remote? Yeah, okay. Okay, so alhamdulillah, a lot has been happening since the land purchase, which includes not only the work done by this facilities development team, but also other Vision99 teams, but most importantly by you, the RCM community, and the input you have given us through surveys, focus groups, discussions, etc. So basically what I wanted to do today is give you an update of what's been completed thus far, how your input has enabled us to further define the vision, get this vision into the programming, get your feedback in how it's gotten into the programming process, and also put the programming into preliminary sketches. Keep in mind that these are in-house sketches meant to be given to an architect so they can understand the relationships and the functions that we're trying to put into the facility itself, and they're by no means a final product. Inshallah, we'll also be discussing the next steps, and we'll also talk about how you can stay informed, connected, and provide some support through this whole process. So if you have not visited the site, this is a top view screenshot of the location of the project. It's 11370 Crabapple Road. This was put under contract late last year. And I'll talk about the steps we've achieved thus far since we've purchased the property. This is a photo, a drone shot taken by someone in the community. You can see, give you an idea, a real life picture of what this site looks like. See, mashallah, it's very green, very flat, has lots of trees, and we'll talk about how we're gonna try to keep this feel as we move further into the project, inshallah. Okay, a little bit about the timeline. So we basically got into the property, got under contract in the property on October 2nd of 2020. That's when we began the site work. At that time, it was not zoned. We did put in a zoning application on October 30th of last year. We did have talks with the city of Roswell on how to go through this process, got some feedback from them. We then had a staff meeting with our initial concept plan on November 27th of November last year. We got some recommendations from them. Then we formally went into a planning commission meeting and then got their recommendation that they did vote to recommend approving the project. We did refine it further based on their feedback, and then we were able to, on May 10th, have the city council public hearing. I think many of us attended that. And remember that it was a day which we had a lot of support from mostly non-Muslims in the community. And we were able to get the zoning approved on May 13th of 2021. They did have some conditions, and we updated the conceptual plan, the site plan, based on their recommendations on 7th of August. Here is the concept plan that we have to date based on their requirements. Their requirements are to have 3 buildings instead of 1 big mass. So we had to keep that in mind in terms of designing the facility as we move forward. They did have some conditions of how far the buildings can be set from the street. So we did take that into consideration. We also had some requests on how the entrances to the property were going to be aligned. They wanted it aligned against the Fast Charter School. And then we have an entrance on Chafin Road. So we took all that into consideration and were able to create this concept, which we are using to move forward to get design work done for the buildings and the site as well. So this is the starting point that we have thus far. We also engaged a arborist to help us with a tree protection and replacement plan. This is a preliminary tree protection and replacement plan here. Our intent, as you saw from the slide earlier, that we do want to keep as much greenery or replant as much greenery to have it feel as natural as possible from the time it was before we were going to disturb it. We also completed a property survey, as you see here on the screen. This shows basically the topography we need to be able to design the buildings and how they're going to sit, the level of the parking lots, and the relation of the green space and everything. So we had the initial data here to be able to design effectively, inshallah. So a little summary of the completed work that we've done thus far is the City Council approval as of May 10th, the conceptual updated site plan, the tree protection plan and replacement plan. We did have a traffic study done, which was required for zoning as well. And it displayed the amount of impact that we were going to have by creating this facility, which is minimal impact. So we were able to validate that. We were able to get the topography done, which is a vital starting point to be able to design effectively on the site. We had the survey done as well. We have created internal programming documents, which Sister Hanada is going to discuss, and that was through your feedback and discussions. We were able to put that into some kind of structure and try to see what would fit into the site and the facility. We also have interviewed 2 architects, so we've begun the interviewing process with architects. We had 2 very good meetings with them, but we are still going to be interviewing more architects. And we've also identified a geotechnical firm, which is going to help us with the soil analysis needed to be able to design the site and the buildings effectively and efficiently. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sister Hanada, and she will talk further more about the details of the project.
While Hunada is taking setting up her slides, just want to mention that inshallah, if you have any questions, put them in the chat and we will have a Q&A towards the end so that we can capture a lot of the questions we anticipate are going to be very similar. So we can go through the slides, inshallah, and then we'll dedicate as much time as is needed to answer all the questions, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So as in any project, and especially in a community project, when we are trying to go and talk to an architecture firm and engage the professionals, it's very important to have a strong concept and a strong idea of what the community wants and needs. So the first thing we did in this journey we took through the summer is to make sure we do that. And right now, I'm gonna go through these a few slides with you, and I apologize if there's something that doesn't seem very clear due to the sketches being really just a preliminary phase type of sketches. So what is this project that we are trying to do? And as Brother Kamran just stated, we have been approved to have 3 main buildings, and which will, complete, inshallah, the program that we would like to have. We are also aiming, of course, to keep in mind that our community needs green space. So as you see here, there are 4 major components. There is the prayer hall building, there's the youth and educational building, the administrative and adult building, and then the outdoor recreation area. And all of them are equally important so that we can keep growing, inshallah, and so that RCM can continue to do what it does best. So we really want to position ourselves, inshallah, with this new complex and to become an icon not only for the things we do, but what image we project into the broader community. So we can, inshallah, become an icon in the South and of the South. So people, can recognize, the RCM brand, not only by what we do, but what we also look like. As we all know, we are in the South, and the South is well known for its Southern hospitality, and this is very much in line with our Islamic values, to be welcoming, to be good neighbors, and to do our best to show our community and the broader community what Islam is all about. So hopefully this project, this complex will help our masjid to keep playing the role it plays within the broader community and within the Muslim community, inshallah. It will, inshallah, be able to hold many events that, go along the vision that RCM has. It will, inshallah, grow in the way we've already established ourselves as being, an outreach, a strong community and welcoming community, inshallah, and family friendly. So here, just to take a step back for those who are not very familiar with the, mission statement of RCM. So the Rawdal Community Masjid really strives to function as a center for community development, facilitate access to authentic Islamic knowledge in a family-friendly environment, while empowering the youth to positively impact society. And the reason why I'm stating this is because we want to translate this into something that will apply specifically to our upcoming project, inshallah. And so the Vision99, statement would look something like: the mosque shall offer, inshallah, a safe space for all, and it, inshallah, will play a central role in fulfilling the needs of the community. And we will, inshallah, aspire, okay, to maintain the vitality of this community and the vitality of all the programs we have. And inshallah, we continue to attract people. And, the masjid itself, inshallah, will inspire people to come, to grow, to educate themselves, and to help one another and help people who need help, inshallah. So as Muslims, we, of course, draw our inspiration from the Quran. And alhamdulillah, we have many beautiful verses that we can, draw this inspiration from. But we chose this one from Surah Al-Baqarah. And that talks about, the role that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose Mecca to be the center of this resort that all mankind can look up to. And so we would love for our masjid to be a place that people can come to grow spiritually, to get service, and to give service, to serve others. And inshallah, it will become a sanctuary for people by the actions and by the things that this, inshallah, this complex will enable us to achieve. So this verse has a lot of peace in it. It has a lot of spirituality in it. And so inshallah, I hope our new home can embody all of these things. So now we're gonna break down this mission statement, the V99, the statement that you saw in the previous slide. And we came up with 5 major elements. So I'm going to start with the upper left corner, which is the community engagement. And this is something, alhamdulillah, all of you know. We're already, alhamdulillah, very welcoming. We try to have everyone facilitate programs for people, or if someone has a new idea, they're welcome to come and share it and start what they want. So we, inshallah, this complex will enable us to keep doing that. We want to keep learning. This is something extremely important, not learning only through helping one another and doing outreach, but also like going back into our very rich and very deep and very wide tradition that we have. So inshallah, we can provide more classroom space, more workshop space to invite scholars and have also, of course, our imam, our ustada, anyone in the local community as well, to enable them, to give them a platform to do that and help the broader community. And as I mentioned before, we also, of course, we want to make sure that we are doing our best to serve everyone and to provide people with opportunities also to serve others. And so now in the lower right corner, the synthesis here talks about what we will look like, really. What is our new home going to look like? And the reason why this is really important for us to think about and kind of dwell on is because we are a mosque in the South. We are a mosque made of diverse people. We are a mosque that has, many people from different generational groups. Some of us are immigrants, some people were born here. And so we are a very dynamic, diverse group of people. And we want this architecture to reflect all of that. And at the same time, we don't want to forget where we are, and we want to be respectful of the context. So that leads us to the icon in the middle. We would love for RCM to become a leading model of Muslim communities in the South, to become an archetype, not only from our ethos, that means like what it is that we stand for and the things we do, but also from the way we look, from our architecture, so that we can, the process that we took to come to this point can be applied by other communities. They don't have to look like us, and they shouldn't look like us. But the process that we are taking, the steps that we are taking to get to where we want to be, inshallah, it should be applicable to any masjid, inshallah. So, and now I'm going to go to the building blocks. So what are our building blocks, inshallah? Not the physical ones, but like our ideals. So some of the ideals that we've tried to capture are, of course, stewardship, khilafa, and everyone in our community is very, alhamdulillah, very environmentally conscious. So we would love for our new home to be a sustainable place, and we would love to include as many green elements as possible. We want to make sure we honor the right of the neighbors. We want to design in a way that's, to take care as much, to give as much care as possible, so we can ensure that our presence in the neighborhood is really reflective of an understanding of the context and of Southern architecture. We want our neighbors to feel that when they pass by our new home, that this is something they are proud of, that it becomes, inshallah, a landmark in Roswell. And instead of people being worried about us on the, it'll be, the opposite, inshallah. Of course, we want to have beauty applied to everything on the inside and the outside. And we want to make sure it's a safe environment for everyone of all ages, our youth, our young adults, and our senior members of the community. And in doing that, since this is a mosque, it goes without saying that we have to be really conscious of the way we spend money, not only because it's an amana, people are, inshallah, will be investing for the akhirah, but the people who are going to be held responsible for spending that money, we want to make sure that we, inshallah, it's done in a reasonable manner, but at the same time, we want to honor the symbols of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So again, the aesthetic is something very similar to beauty, but it's that reflection of the architecture. It's what this architecture gonna look like. What features are we gonna have? What materials are we gonna use? And we wanna make sure that since this is a complex that comprises, a youth center that's gonna have recreation and education. We're gonna have a adult building that's gonna have staff, offices, and event hall. So this is here more like a civic feel. So you have educational, religious. So all of these types of architecture, I hope we have an architect, inshallah, who can be sensitive to all these, different categories, and we can come up with something that's really a nice synthesis of everything. So we've covered now the vision and the guiding principles. And I'm gonna go, as you all know, we have certain challenges we're facing now in our current facility. And we did not capture all of them, but these are the main ones. As you all know, we need more space to grow our programs, especially for the youth. And we don't have a space that's dedicated for the youth only. Of course, parking, which I think, we'll always need parking, subhanAllah. We need green space, we need play areas. And since we are growing, our wudu lines and the lobby have become really tough. So many members of our subcommittee, alhamdulillah, were able to visit mosques over the summer and do some benchmarking. And this is really, one of the best practices to do is to learn from other people who have done the same thing and learn from the challenges that they have been through. So we've noted some of their advice. And then we went on to start with the conceptualization phase, which has to start with programming. And in architecture, programming means to come up with a list of all the functions that the project is gonna house. And so when we do that, we can do it in a couple different ways, but we started by identifying the existing functions we have and the ones that are missing. And of course, we went to the community, and there was a survey that was sent, and there were also like a couple meetings that were done. And the input was taken from the youth, from the mosque attendees, and so Jumu'ah attendees, and also from the volunteers of RCM, the EC, and the board. So we put all of this together we overlaid it with the functions that we had already identified. And I'm gonna give you a few examples. So RCM, holds, potluck dinners, holds workshops, holds classrooms or like classes, lessons done by Ustada, by the Imam, by different members of the community. We have the Sunday school, we have the QSP program. So all of these things, when we think about them and we try to understand the best way they could function, this is how we break them down, and we can figure out in projection for the next 10, 15 years, what is it that we're going to need based on the things that we've already done. So we've been engaged with interfaith work, with civic work. As you know, RCM holds city council debates. We've held blood drives. We've held, we've been a collection point for donations, and so on and so forth. So we have a huge variety of events that have taken place, alhamdulillah, in the current multipurpose room and classrooms. So since, alhamdulillah, we are able to grow in square footage, we kind of divided all these functions in the 3 separate buildings that we've identified for you in the beginning of the presentation. So alhamdulillah, after doing that, my job was to put together these functions in a way that will make sense, flow-wise, relationship-wise. Are these functions, can they be in the same building? Can they be on the same floor? How big should they be proportionately? So let's say the classrooms, how many classrooms are we gonna put in the youth building compared to an activity space for the children? So all of these things we've taken into consideration, but also, and this is really for me personally, the highlight of this project is really having outdoor space, having other than the parking, because our community, the way it behaves, the way it's, our patterns are, and when we are done with an event, we love to, hang around and chat. When Jum'ah is done, the brothers and sisters, they like to, connect with one another, and this is really the purpose of the Jami'. Jami' is mostly used in Middle Eastern countries, but Jami' means what brings together. So it brings us together. So inshallah, I'm gonna go over this master site plan. The shapes of the buildings changed a little bit just because of the way I've put together the functions, but this is by no means, it doesn't mean that this is what the final product is going to be. This is an attempt to solve the problem. It's not a problem, but the given that we have. Okay, so I'm going to start with building 100, which is the prayer hall. It's in the middle, and adjacent to that, to the left-hand side, will be the building 200. We're going to refer to it as building 200. That's the youth building. And then the last one is the administrative building. Now, the city has approved the plan, but with some limitations. So we have to stick with certain setbacks, and these buildings respect those setbacks. So we can't really move outside this kind of island that you see in the middle that's surrounded by the parking areas and the drives. So this is pretty much the area where our buildings will sit, inshallah. There is a difference in levels between Chafin and Crabapple. So the building 100 and 300 will sit kind of, I'm gonna do my best to explain it. They will have, we're referring to them as basements, but they're, have two sides that are lit. Okay, so they're not like, sunk in basements. So they will have windows and that, facing Crabapple Road. But then the building 200 will sit flat next to the parking lot. That's right to its left. Now, the A100, this is a very important part of the project. This is, inshallah, this place, this outdoor space that will unify the whole project, that will create this much needed space, not only to gather after events, but also for it to be this outdoor area that we go through as we are, inshallah, preparing ourselves to go to Jum'ah or to go to any event, to throw away the outside world and to start going into a more peaceful home, a place where we feel that this is our home, this is where we feel safe. And having the C refers to colonnade. So hopefully we can create like a colonnade feel with water features, with greenery that will help people, feel this peace and serenity even before they enter the Musalla building. I'm going to point your attention to the lower left corner now of the site. And this is where we will have, inshallah, a D100 is a basketball court, and then a playground for our little kids, and then hopefully a couple of sheds. Not sheds, like gazebo areas, a outdoor classroom that can look like amphitheater. It's not an amphitheater, for, of course, many of our neighbors thought when we mentioned the word amphitheater that this is for concerts. And of course, we're not holding concerts. It's for, educational purposes. And then we are also proposing to have a women-only garden, a private space for women where they can enjoy the outdoors. And this is, every Muslim woman, would love, inshallah, to enjoy that. And also, any women from the broader community are welcome, but especially for Muslim women, due to modesty, this will be a nice, place for them to enjoy. So I'm going to go over this one really quickly. So this is, proposing where the access points would be for the different buildings. So the administrative building by city rules has to have an entrance parallel to Crabapple. So this could be that. The building 100, which is the prayer hall building, can have 3 entrances. So it will have one main entrance from the courtyard, and then 2 side entrances on either end of the building. The entrance number 7 is on the lower level of the building, whereas entrance number 3, and this could be a women-only entrance with a courtyard, and it leads directly to the women prayer hall. So again, number 1 here is the entrance for the whole project. And then number 4 is the entrance where everyone can use, both brothers and sisters. And then we have 2 side entrances. The building 300 can also have access from the courtyard and another access here from the parking. And then finally, the building can have also 2 entrances, one from the courtyard and one from the parking area. Now, what are the main concepts? So, I've hinted upon these aspects when I was introducing the site plan, the master site plan. Allah would love for this to be a very welcoming space to everyone, where they can come and reflect and have a sense of peace and quietude. We would love to have components picture.
project की presentation बता रहा
I'm sorry, I think someone has their mic unmuted. Thank you so much. We would love to provide, the courtyard here, provides enjoyable access to the different buildings. And we want to make sure that our lobby areas and the prayer halls are designed to meet the different needs of our attendees. And so this is here a sketch of what this building can look like. People can come from this main lobby area, number 1, and then the sisters could go from the left to number 2, and then the brothers head to the entrance of the men front space of the musalla from this side. These stairs lead to the basement, and then for the brothers, and then on the other side we'd have stairs and elevators as well, an elevator for the sisters. So number 3 here is that side entrance I was referring to for this level for the sisters, and hopefully we can also include a courtyard here, a private courtyard for the sisters, inshallah. So, and this sketch is really to give our community an idea of the scale of the project. The project, each building is not bigger than what we have in footprint wise, but in square footage, because we have 2 levels, we are inshallah approved to have 16,000 square feet per building. Our current facility is about 11,000 square feet. And the footprint of each of the buildings that we have been approved to build can be up to, around 8,000 square feet. So this here is around 8,000 square feet. And what I did is I overlaid the current facility with the proposed sketch. So the solid red that you see here, that's the men musalla in our current facility. And the solid purple that you see here is the women musalla. So that gives you an idea of the scale, inshallah, of what, growing the square footage of the prayer hall can look like. So now going downstairs to the basement level, number 2 would be the overflow area for both brothers and sisters. We can also have a warming kitchen so that this overflow space can continue to be used just like we use our multi-purpose room now for workshops and other, community events. Have some storage, the wudu and restrooms downstairs with some, inshallah, showers for i'tikaf, and then some extra space here that can be used as office or studio or even also overflow. So what we are aiming to do really is to make sure that every single person in our community feels welcome and feels at ease and feels that this is their space. It belongs to them. Each person should feel that this space, inshallah, belongs to them and meets their needs. This here is another sketch where I've colored in solid green the current multi-purpose room we have. And then this red border is the overflow space of the base of the basement. So that gives you an idea that this is approximately the same total square footage of our current space. Now, moving on to building 200. So here we want to make sure that it's, again, safe for the youth, engaging, it's halal, it's, creative and fun environment. We want our kids to come, whether they're coming to Sunday school or the QSP program, and inshallah, many more programs, by the time we are ready to open the doors, but also for the kids to use during outside program times. So we want to make sure we meet their needs spiritually, educationally, on the personal level, and professional growth. Help them grow professionally by providing the kids who have who are no longer kids, young adults who have graduated or who are in college. They can come and tutor, and not only and be those role models for our children. So the way this building I've approached it is really not only thinking about it as an architect. Alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed me to be able to work in RCM in different roles. So Alhamdulillah, as a teacher and as a one of the co-leads of a program, and as someone who's Alhamdulillah worked in interfaith and other events, Alhamdulillah, I kind of can put the hat of the teacher while she's thinking, the hat of the person who was trying to put together an event. So for this particular building, I know that our teachers don't only need classrooms, they need other spaces. So this is here a rough sketch of what this building can look like. So this is like the main floor here. It can have, for example, 6 classrooms. It can have, a welcoming area here. So the number 6 would be the main entrance from the parking. And then number 2 would be welcome, office. And then other than the classrooms that we are accustomed to see, we want a space where the kids can learn other things. So I'm calling it a learning center. And it can, inshallah, be that place where we can, creatively think of other things we can expose our children to when they come to the mosque. So again, this is another comparative scale slide to show the purple is the current classrooms we have. And then the green space is the multi-purpose space that we can have. So we can have a big open area in the school, for example, and then another one that's enclosed. And both of these can be used as multi-purpose spaces. The upstairs of this building would most likely, again, this is the sketch. Pretty much the same, but with more classrooms, with 5 being that possibly, interactive space. It can be used for study outside program hours. And this is like a rec center. Number 4 can be like a rec center for the kids. Then we can also provide a much needed lounge for our teachers, inshallah. Going to the last building, building 300, inshallah, we want to make sure that also we think of it in a flexible manner, providing our staff and our volunteers with space where they can meet, and with the community to continue to provide them with space also where they can hold their private halaqas or private events, or also where we can hold RCM events. So the program list has many diversity, I should say, of functions. So some of them are like active and some of them are cerebral. So we're gonna provide, inshallah, rooms for study and office space and meetings, but we also want to provide room for people who would like to come and, exercise. So we are, inshallah, the way we are conceiving of the multi-use space here is for it to be able to house gym space and events at the same time. So this here, though, this building, because it's our administrative building and because it holds the offices of the imam and, the the offices of the staff, and board room and etc. And because also it has the main entrance facing Crabapple, this is in a way also the face of RCM. So we want to make sure that we take this opportunity if someone drops by to meet with the imam, to use this opportunity to teach about who we are through the building. So we want the building for itself to speak of who we are as well, even if they did not go to the masjid building. So why not, and the lobby spaces have exhibit areas. And this is one of the things that also the community asked for. So looking at this building, it can have, inshallah, nice lobby areas, can have a cafe, can have a kitchen, large enough to be, if we could, a commercial kitchen, a big event space that can have, gym activities. And if we do have a cafe, inshallah, the cafe can spill into those rooms. And this large room can also be partly used by our Sunday school kids. If we have a longer time for Sunday school, then they can have lunch here as well. So the back area would be, the restrooms and the like and storage. But then going upstairs, we would have the offices and the workshop rooms, a couple shared spaces for office for the community, and then another lounge space. So number 10 here is, we can have maybe some double volumes, meaning the downstairs and the upstairs are open to one another. And then finally, this is again, the thing that we can all, inshallah, look forward to is to have an opportunity to spend time outdoors together and, inshallah, use the trails that can be done here. Probably we can have more sidewalks around the buildings, so this can be even longer. Have many events outdoors, whether COVID or not COVID, limited. So we're approaching the end, I'm sorry. So this is, now everybody is wondering, what is this building gonna look like? I don't know, nobody knows yet, but really we want to set the approach, right? So the overall approach for the design, I went and, looked up the word style, and it's, the dictionary tells us that it's a distinctive appearance typically determined by the principles according to which something is designed. So what were our guiding principles? So we said we want stewardship, we want to make sure we honor the right of the neighbor, we want beauty, we want safety, etc., etc. And so inshallah, we combine these things with the rich heritage we have in our Islamic tradition, from patterns to the tessellations, the geometry, the use of light, the use of water, and all these elements that Islamic architecture is known for. When we combine all of these together, inshallah, we should come up with something that's really beautiful. So the next steps for our subcommittee here, as Brother Kamran mentioned, we've started the interview process for the architecture firm. So the next step would be to award a firm with this project so that they can refine the programming and validate it, and to begin working on a master plan. And then also, of course, to have a civil engineer who can work with the architect. And last but not least, also to engage a geotechnical engineer to work with the present soil that we have, to see what they have to do, how they can move things around to make sure that everything is built safely, inshallah. So it's Bassem's turn now. Here you go.
Okay, thank you, Hanada, so much. So yes, we just want to share with you a few next steps. And first of all, we need your prayers and your well wishes as this program continues to move forward, inshallah. We want, inshallah, everybody to stay engaged and keep attending these information sessions and tell more and more people about what's going on. We're going to take your questions here or read them out and try to answer all of them. But if you think of something after we all hang up, you can still send an email to info@razulmasjid.com. And we want to, inshallah, get everybody to start really experiencing the new space. So if you want to do a gathering for educational purposes, if you have like a small halaqah or something like that you want to hold at the new facility, also send an email to info@razulmasjid.org. That should say info@razulmasjid.org. I'm sorry. We need volunteers, especially if you have a background or experience in grant writing, fundraising, event planning, and such. And last but not least, please donate. Please show us the support. Please be part of building this vision and this facility by donating generously to several ways you can donate. One goes directly to the 10 by 10 campaign that we have right now, where we're celebrating almost 10 years at the current facility and getting people to engage and start building the new one, as well as going directly to our website and picking the Vision99 donation option. And with that, I think we're, is there anything else? Yeah, covered that. I'm just going to turn it over to Sister Kinza, who has been collecting the questions and see what we have.
All right, thank you. Thank you everyone for your questions. I'm going to go ahead and read them for the committee. So the first couple of questions are related to prayer space. Is there an estimate on number of people able to pray during Ramadan? And also related to that, will there be a flex area for busier times like Jummah or the first / last few nights of Ramadan? Sister Hanada, you want to take that one?
Nada, we can't hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I did not have access to the mic. So, so inshallah, the sketch that you all saw, it's representative of what RCM holds right now. So I can go back to that sketch, but roughly speaking, our RCM is able to hold at least 400 people to pray together in the present current facility. So with that in mind, inshallah, the new facility should be able to hold about 700 at the same time. And we are hoping that the overflow can also be sometimes, if weather permitting, we can use also outdoor space. And so we're almost doubling our capacity.
I'm going to add, just during Ramadan itself, we already are talking to our neighbors to allow us to park in their parking area. This is the FAST school across the street. And inshallah, in the evenings for Taraweeh, we've already spoken to them and they're open to the idea, inshallah. So parking should not be an issue for Ramadan.
All right. So, oh, did you answer the question about parking?
Yeah, yeah, I can help answer that. Right now, the number of parking spaces is over 160, but that does not include the drives, which we are hoping that they will be able to get some parallel parking there to increase the number of parking spaces. And then, like Brother Bassem mentioned, that we are talking to Fast across the street, and there's a few churches close by that we may be able to collaborate with. So we're hoping to expand our parking options, inshallah. So we're looking into the best options for that.
Okay. So this person, I think, was also asking about flex area for prayer space. You know, if there's an overflow, what happens to people? Can they pray outside, downstairs, other buildings?
So the overflow is designed to be downstairs right now in the basement of the same building of the prayer hall.
All right. Are you planning on having a space for selling food or snacks?
Inshallah, there is a possibility for that. The program does include that, and this is something we are requesting from the firm, specifically in building 300, so we can have, inshallah, you know, a place where the community can gather and, you know, spend time together and socialize on the weekends or the afternoons. So yes, inshallah, we're hoping we can have that.
All right. Will there be a room for doing itikaf?
Yes, inshallah, there will be space for people to do that, inshallah.
Men and women, or just for the men?
Yes, both. Yeah, we currently do that, alhamdulillah. So inshallah, we will continue to have that.
All right. So a couple of questions are related to, you know, making it into a green masjid, right? So with green energy, geothermal, solar charging station for electric cars, and also, do we plan for installing solar panels on the roof?
Well, right now, we are looking into as many green options that we can incorporate as possible. We don't have any specifics right now. We are interested in installing an electric car charger, or one or two. We have been approached by somebody about that. We have not discussed solar panels specifically because we have not engaged the architect at this point. But our goal is to try to make it with as many green options as possible and as environmentally efficient as we can. So that is a goal for us to try to incorporate as much as we can into the facility.
All right. Now about the outdoor spaces. There's a suggestion about having a campfire pit. Are there any plans right now to have a fire pit?
I don't think we have that in the program. I'm not aware of it, but I'm not sure what the implications of having one are. So this is something we would have to discuss with the architect.
All right. And then a question related to the fitness center. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on what you mean by exercise space on building 300? What kind of courts will be on this new property?
So we are asking the architect to explore the possibility of having a half basketball court. But we are also aware of the limitations that this would bring to hold other events at the same time in that room. So the architect has to look at all the functions together and make sure that they all fit, they can overlay in the same space. That being said, we can easily provide, inshallah, space in that multi-purpose room for people to hold like yoga classes or have a few machines for people to use. And inshallah, we can easily operationally do that, like have a schedule for sisters and brothers and etc. So it's something for people to feel comfortable in. Also provide both brothers and sisters with space for changing at the mosque. I don't think we have room for showers, but we can have a room for changing, so which will make it easier. And so this will be, close to the cafe. So this makes it a nice morning experience for our community, inshallah, or afternoon for that matter. But I mean, so people can come and spend time, inshallah.
Inshallah. All right, sounds good. That's pretty much it for the questions. Yeah.
We have questions from any of the other platforms. I've been keeping track of the questions here. And nobody else on Zoom or on Facebook?
Yeah, I don't see any additional questions. I think that was it.
All right, alhamdulillah. So yeah, a note from Brother Maher, like Konada said, we are looking at possibility of, multi-purpose spaces. I don't think there's room for a full indoor gym court. A full basketball court indoors, based on what I understand. I'll throw it back to the team.
Yeah, the square footage we have does not allow us to have a full indoor basketball court, if this is what the question is.
And there's another question, I'm going to read it as well. Are there any plans to utilize green space for a multi-purpose field for outdoor sports?
Right now, we have not, again, the concept is still a concept, so we're not married to exactly what we have there. We do have some green space there for a full basketball court, a playground, and some gazebos. So there is green space there. How large it will be still needs to be kind of finalized through the architectural and the civil process.
All right. So alhamdulillah, thank you all for, Brother Ahmad snuck in one more question. Would we have a walking, running track around the building?
Yes, we do have some trails around the building, not around the building itself, but around the green space. There was an idea of trying to tie that into the required sidewalk along the Crabapple and Chafin. But there is a loop, which is a walking trail and also interconnected into the green space, already programmed into the exterior southwest quadrant.
And that gives us a smiley face. So let's end here on a positive note, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum jami'an for attending this, for your engagement. Please keep this team in your prayers. Please keep this project in your prayers. And may Allah accept from everyone and make us, lead us down the path that makes him the most happy with everybody here and everybody at RCM. Barakallahu feekum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.